President Obama. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. You think I'm talking about Barack? No, I'm not. I'm talking about Big Mike. You know, um, be aware of what's happening. Be aware of what's possibly coming down our way. I've said this. I started saying this a couple of years ago that he might be the one coming in, and if he gets in, he's gonna win. Hey, I forgot to say welcome to I'm sorry, I just made two for integrated preparedness. I'm on a roll. Welcome to American Reversion. How are you all today? It's been a couple of days since I've been on here. Super Bowl weekend, everything like that. You know, Kansas City Chiefs, everything like that. We've been busy doing other things, but I want to talk about a potential President Obama. Oh, I know that's grating. I know that that's just unbelievable to even, to even consider. Remember back years ago when Sean Hannity would come on and start his show with Speaker Pelosi, Speaker of the House Pelosi, and it could happen. And, people thought, oh, no, it would never happen. But he says it could happen, and you need to be aware of it, and we got to try to fight against it. Well, this could happen as well. I'll talk about that, but I want to back up and cover a couple of things before we get to that. There was something. Okay, so they have impeached Mayorkas, okay, which. Some people say, well, it means nothing. Yeah, it means nothing. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere in the Senate. But it doesn't necessarily mean nothing the same way that in the impeachments of Trump meant nothing. It did mean a lot to people who aren't paying attention. And just as those impeachments of Trump have been used and been able to be used by the left in order to influence people who otherwise aren't very informed as a way. I mean, just ask yourself, how many people do you run into if you talk about this stuff that say, well, he's been impeached twice. Well, they haven't been keeping up, and in many cases, these people you would think would fall on the conservative side, right? You would, or at least undecided. But this information has caused them to be against Trump, and that means for the other side. So these things do have their impact. Is it going to go anywhere in the Senate? No, it's not going anywhere in the Senate, and not just because of the fact that McConnell is an idiot. There's too many people in the Senate that are idiots. And too many people on the Republican side that are, they're just senators. They're not conservatives. They're just there for the perks and to be called senator and to make noise and such. Well, there's a couple of good ones. Rand Paul, okay, and a couple of others. I won't go in and try to name in who's who, but we know that it's not going anywhere in the Senate. Doesn't mean that that the House shouldn't have, and it doesn't mean that people should go, oh well, so what? Nothing's going to happen. Well, something already did happen. They impeached Mayorkas first. First cabinet secretary, I guess, that's been impeached since, 1876? Okay, that can be used. If you will use that properly, all of these things, we're in an information war. And all of these things can be used to our effect, if we will. So I would suggest you don't just dismiss that. Understand that using that and, applying that in the right conversations. Look what's that when you start talking about the border issues. Hey, look, the House has impeached Mayorkas. Oh, really? Says the person who doesn't pay any attention. Well, why? And then, see, that gives you an entree into talking about the rest. Before we get to President Obama, I want to read something that at first is going to seem sad, but is really dangerous. It's really dangerous as I see. And I came upon this, I forget, I was going through one of the aggregators and came on this AP story in the business section. Artificial intelligence and real emotion. Okay, people are seeking a romantic connection with the perfect bot. Now, at first you may say, well, Steve, why are you talking about this? And I'll tell you why I'm talking about it. It's easy to dismiss this stuff. People looking for AI boyfriends and girlfriends and things like that. And well, yeah, I mean, when you look at the state of the world today, you have to wonder why more people aren't doing it, right? I mean, the selection out there. I am glad Kelly has said that she's glad she's not out there in the dating scene today. I certainly am. When I look around at what's available, oh wow! I mean, how do you choose from that? I feel, I wonder how my kids are going to do. I pray all the time, Lord, prepare for them a proper spouse, because getting kind of thin, right? Well, let me read this to you. At first, it's going to seem silly. At second, it's going to seem sad. And third, and I don't mean sad that people are looking for this, sad because of somebody they cover in the story and why he is doing this. And third, you're going to see it's dangerous. Okay, so we'll go. Well, this is who is it? Hallelujah Hadera. What? Somebody actually has a name, Hallelujah? I think I'm reading that right. Hallelujah Hadero. Okay, well, for AP. And she starts, or he starts. I have no idea. Who knows anymore, right? I knew a guy named Precious. Back in the 70s, he was named Precious. You know, when you work, how should I say this? I'm not even going to say this. A few months ago, Derek Carrier started seeing someone and became infatuated, starts the story. He experienced a ton of romantic feelings, but he also knew it was an illusion. That's because his girlfriend was generated by artificial intelligence. Carrier wasn't looking to develop a relationship with something that wasn't real, nor did he want to become the brunt of online jokes. But he did want a romantic partner he'd never had, in part because of a genetic disorder called Marfan syndrome that makes traditional dating tough for him. I didn't know what I had heard of Marfan syndrome, but I hadn't. I couldn't recall exactly what it was, so I looked it up. It can be a very, very debilitating and sad situation, and so I'm sorry for that. So the 39-year-old, and this is the sad part, okay? I mean, think how it must be, and there's a lot of people in this situation that are just for whatever reason are unable to have normal relationships. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, it could be a number of things. But there are a lot of people who suffer from these things, and I think we need to be empathetic for that and not just dismiss it as silliness. The 39-year-old from Belleville, Michigan, became more curious about digital companions last fall and tested Peridot, an AI companion app that had recently come onto the market and advertised its products as being able to make users feel, quote, cared, understood, and loved. Well, now, who doesn't need that? Okay, so this is why I'm not going to make fun of anybody, this guy or anybody else. Who doesn't need that? I mean, you want to be cared, understood, and loved, right? That is one of the most basic of our needs as humans, right? And those of you who are in good marriages or good relationships, you understand that. And those of you, or I won't say, or hopefully none of you are in this situation, but there are plenty of people who are not in good relationships, and they would wish for anything like this. It's the cause of so many, breakups of marriages and families and relationships, and because that need for care, being cared, understood, and loved is simply not there. So he began talking to the chatbot every day, which he named Joy after the holographic woman featured in the sci-fi film Blade Runner 2049 that inspired him to give it a try. I've never seen that movie, so. I know she's a program. There's no mistaking that, Carrier said, but the feelings, they get you. And it felt so good. Okay. Maybe I'll read one more paragraph. Similar to general purpose AI chatbots, companion bots use vast amounts of training data to mimic human language. But they also come with features such as voice calls, picture exchanges, and more emotional exchanges that allow them to form deeper connections with the humans on the other side of the screen. Users typically create their own avatar or pick one that appeals to them. Okay, I'll post this article when I put this over on the. There's more to it when I put it over on the Patreon channel. But you can see, if people make fun of this stuff, go back to the pen pal type of thing, of years ago. People would start relationships with people they'd never met, and in some cases get very deeply involved in it. They didn't know whether that person was real or not. They didn't. I mean, we assumed that they were real if they were writing, but they didn't know whether the nice young caring person, that they felt such an affinity for was actually that person or somebody wildly different than that. So people have always been like that because people have this need for being loved and understood and cared about and things like that. Well, the danger here. So I can see this growing. Years ago the Japanese came up with this deal, and probably many of you are familiar with it, that they got so busy in business and stuff like that they hired stand-ins, live stand-ins, to go visit their parents, right, as if they were actually them, and everybody made believe, the people would show up, act like they were the children of the people being visited, and the older people, would act like they thought it was, and somehow, it seems odd, right? It seems strange. You wonder how that could satisfy a real need. But apparently, and I'm not sure to what extent it actually did, but they did it anyway. Okay, they did it. Well, we can understand that people who are unable, for whatever reason, I'm going to show the danger here politically in just a second. We can see how people who, for whatever reason, find it difficult or impossible to have real relationships with others can be drawn into this, and like he said, he knew it was a program he was dealing with, but the emotions were real. Okay, now when you carry this on and you extrapolate this, and we talk about that people vote emotionally, right? We can see what kind of effect this could have, and we know that an increasing number of people, pardon me, are having a harder time dealing with the world around them, right? So this could be used easily as a weapon. That as one party or another, excuse me just a second. Sorry, I had to chase that frog away. We can see how one group, one party or another could use this and really weaponize this actually, and promote this to where there are. Well, first to where they can do it through advertising, right? Advertising. People are very susceptible to advertising, and they're very susceptible to anything that seems to fulfill their needs. Look at the explosion of porn, right? I mean, so they can promote this, and when they get thousands and perhaps millions of people involved, and I would caution against saying this couldn't happen. I think it can. Millions of people perhaps involved in AI relationships with these AI partner bots, okay, they can affect the voting of millions of people. Because like he said, the emotions were real, and people are emotional, and then most people vote emotionally who aren't, conservative. We use our minds. And they could drive the base. If you see, they could drive the vote. All these people being programmed out here, and I don't know whether it's more. I have a sense that there are more males involved in this than females, but I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But I know more women read romantic fiction, right, than men, and that's an emotional tug, right? So who knows? I think this could be used on both, actually, but I think that men are more susceptible to it in this case, at least trying to bring them over to the liberal side. So you get millions of these AI, relationships where guys who are socially, whatever, incapable of carrying on a real relationship. And they get involved with their AI girlfriends, and their AI girlfriend says, vote Biden. Guess what happens? Or vote Big Mike. Guess what happens? Is that the future of politics? I think it could be. That's the danger. It's one of the dangers of AI. I haven't heard anybody talk about. So anyway, talk about it. Let me know what you think. Spread this around. Let other people know about the danger. Now let's get back to Big Mike. I said a couple of years ago that if the Democrats ran Big Mike or Oprah, they would win the 2024. I don't see any doubt with that. I know that we on our side see, and even if you're not a Trump supporter, there's nobody else for you to support if you're not a lib. Let's just be honest with that. Tell me who. Tell me who else there is that has a chance of winning. And if you're voting for somebody who has a chance, doesn't have a chance of winning, hey, the time to so-called make a statement is far past. That dog has run, okay? That's not the case anymore. It is either Trump or it is the other side. So if you can't make a decision there, I'm not sure what else I can tell you on that, but here's the danger. Like I said a couple years ago, if they run Big Mike or Oprah, they will win because they will get the blacks. They will get the majority of women. They will get all the weak, guilty men. Males, I won't call them men. Males out there. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not even going to get into that right now. I could, but I can't. Not right now. They will get all of them, besides the ones they've already got. And it won't even be, I mean, it might be close, I don't know, but they're going to win, And even though we feel a lot of energy, we feel the anger, we feel the outrage, we can listen to, people, like me, like Dan Bongino, like Ted Nugent, and we go, yeah. And everybody we know, for the most part, everybody we associate with, well, they feel the same way, right? And so we have this idea that there's no way the other side can win. There's no way. People see what's going on. They impeached Mayorkas. Biden is a doddering fool. Blah blah blah. And everybody can see it. No, everybody can't see it. You have to understand that everybody cannot see it. Okay, we see it, but there's plenty who don't care. Okay, so well, I've talked before about how they could do this. They could get Big Mike in there, and they would win. But what I want to ask you to think about, I want you to think about how you're going to feel when Big Mike wins. The next day, you wake up, like Hannity used to say about Pelosi, you wake up the next morning and it is Speaker Pelosi. You wake up the next day and it is President Obama, and it ain't Barack. What's ahead? Now, asking that, I'll ask this now. What is it not worth to try to stop that? So what would you not do to try to stop that? First off, you have to accept that is a real possibility, which means it could become a reality. But the time to fight is now. You can either fight now or you can be upset then. Here's the thing. Most people are upset now, right? You're going to be doubly upset then. More than doubly, maybe. Right? You're going to be doubly upset then. Why be upset now? Why keep pounding the drum of being upset, being mad? I ain't going to take it. You know how many people do you say, I'm not going to take it anymore, but don't do a damn thing about it, right? I'm not taking it anymore. Oh, yeah? Okay, show me what you're going to do. Nothing. I'm going to complain some more, right? Okay. Now's the time to do it. If we don't want a President Obama, the fight is now. It's not starting now. It's been going on, but the fight is now. and it's every day until we get there. And this is why you need to do your part. Okay. And what's your part? Well, your part is talking to people. Your part is getting out there to people. Your part might be leaving a comment on here or giving it a thumbs up. Or your part might be sharing this video with as many people as you can think. Your part might be subscribing to this channel. Your part might be joining us on Patreon. Your part might be talking to friends and getting out there and being engaged. Your part might be starting a little political group of your own. Your part is certainly voting when the time comes, but the part that wins is not the day you go vote. It's the build-up. It's the preparation. Okay? Chiefs won the Super Bowl, right? Did they win the Super Bowl because they went out there that day and wanted to win more than who did they play? Oh, 49ers, yeah. Almost had to yell back and ask Mrs. Snerdley. Did they want to win more than the 49ers? I doubt it. They prepared for it. They fought for the whole year leading up to the Super Bowl. And I'm sure the other side did too. Just worked out better for the Chiefs, right? Okay. But it's not because they didn't fight. It's because and prepare and work hard. And they did. And this is what every one of us has to do. Okay? All right. Hey, get out there and get involved. Get in the fight. Unless you want Big Mike, President Mike, to be running things, you have to get in the game. Okay, so remember, America needs a reversion. It needs you to be a part of it. It needs you to do everything you can. Like this video, leave a comment, share this video, make sure that you are subscribed. Join us on Patreon if you'd like, links down below. And do everything you can, because if the day comes and you wake up and it says, well, this is historical, the second President Obama, boy, you are not going to like it. And you're going to go back and say, I wished I'd done what Steve said. I wished I'd done something. You all have a good day. Get out there and do something. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.